All right, next is from Ben B. The subject is collision attendance picks. Hey guys, collision ran in my hometown of Shreveport last night. The arena holds 13K, and they were lucky if there was 2,000 people there. The seats were limited to just the floor, maybe 4 sections in the hard camera. I attached a few pics if you want to check it out. When AEW first started, they often ran smaller venues like college basketball arenas, and it looked great. At some point, they decided to do big arenas, and it's not working out. My question is this: when you performed in front of a small crowd, did it affect your motivation performance, or did it just put blinders on and go out there to entertain those who showed up? Yeah, it is kind of when you're not drawing and your houses are suck. It does affect you. You don't get that energy when you walk out in front of the people like you do in big arenas. It absolutely affects your performance
Did you
because
look
it's
at the
hard to get
pictures?
Okay,
into.
so let me
Zero. Go ahead.
let me
Did you look
say
at the
this
pictures,
about these
Di?
pictures. Okay, quick
What?
clicking them. So the first one, when I saw it, I thought, wow, that doesn't look bad, right?
Hmm.
Then show the second and third one.
Yeah,
Show the third.
yeah,
That's brutal.
yeah. A lot of empty seats. And
What
W
was the
and
question, by the
the
way?
worst visual is WWE shows are all sold out. That's the worst
Right,
part of this. It's like,
right.
dude, it's like yeah, sure, sell it out, and you're filled up 20% of the arena. That's sad that.
Because the product isn't hot right now.
But the
Bottom
product
line.
very simple because Dave was tweeting this again, talking about the ratings. And Collision and Rampage aren't that good. He said Dynamite's ratings are great. Like use that word. I was like, and I want to tweet at him. I'm tired of
Well,
tweeting Dave
they're
because
great because from what he
here,
told me, okay, as long as they're over 500,000 and they're 800,000 and whatever, right? They're good.
okay, I know he told you that, and
Right.
that's for a guy that's a wrestling historian.
Right.
He should know that it's a dishonest narrative to be reporting because every wrestling promoter in the history of the wrestling business, with the exception of Tony Khan, who is a billionaire that
Right.
bought into this and obviously is not, it's like he's the first promoter that's not really concerned with making money.
Right.
Every promoter in the previous history has wanted to make money. You
Right.
want to increase your audience because you need a growing audience on television to fill seats at your live events. They're not doing that. And we've
Right.
said all along for 3 years, we say that you have to go after you have to grow your fan
Casual
base
fan. Right.
because down the road this is going to be your problem. You're not going to have people to come to the shows, which
Yeah.
is what they're. And so sitting there using the words great,
Those
right,
empty seats are your casual fans.
right. And so when you use the word the ratings are great, I'm like, what are you talking about here? Because they're not great because you're not drawing more people and you're
Okay,
having trouble filling.
I
Yeah,
know, but
yeah.
what I'm telling you is for the TV executives, they're happy if he's over 500,000 from what he told me.
Right.
Okay. And I'm assume he checked out his before he said it to me.
I
But,
think, bro, think about that too. The Tony is literally going all in
right.
on trying to get an increase in TV rights
Right.
because, like I said, they're running arenas that are too big to
Right.
fill. So, you're losing money and all these other things you're doing, and you're just holding out trying to
I
hope
just
that the
think, you know what
yeah.
I
Go ahead.
think? I think that's some way, because that's the only logical thing I can think of. He thought, wow, this is going to blow up and it's growing. And he said, start booking bigger venues,
Right.
you know, and
Yeah.
that hasn't been the case. And he hasn't pulled back. I mean, you could just say, starting next week, we start running 5,000 seat arenas.
Right. You could do very easily. Next is
I,
from
I
Eddie
I'd
Hogan.
like to
So,
kind of speculate on what Jeff's doing about this, Jeff Jarrett, because that's part of his deal is the arenas and stuff like that. If he's gone to Tony and suggested, or what the deal is there, just
we'll
be
see.
interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next
I'm
round of
100%
arenas.
sure Jeff is knowing him has said, "Hey, bro, this is not a good look. You know, you need to cut back." But maybe in his mind, he's thinking, "I'm gonna blow up." You
Yeah.
know?
Maybe I might text Jeff and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Next is from Eddie Hogan. Subject is time to worry. Question for Conan. Enjoyed the Rumble event last night. I have to ask you that if you think WWE should be worried about CM Punk. I'm not the only one that thinks that Paul looks slow, kind of out of shape in the ring, and it seems like he's aged a lot recently too. I mean, he did have a bald spot in AEW, and in the Rumble he had that dry, thin hair, and his bald patch at the back of his head was showing.
He had the same bald spot
Plus,
in
he was
AEW.
moving slow, and it seemed, unless he's just selling, that his arm got hurt during the match too.
Yeah,
Oh, this
well,
is an old. Yeah, this
it
guy's
was prior to that announcement, but
right. Yeah. Okay. What I'm asking
How
Conan is,
how old
well,
is
let me
CM
finish.
Punk, Joe?
Let me finish the email.
Yeah.
40,
What I'm asking you, Conan, is do you
44, I
think
think.
WWE have, guys?
Go ahead.
What I'm asking you, Conan, is do you think that the WWE have anything to worry about here? Did they buy a broken car that's going to spend more time in the garage and on the road? All right. Well, I'm gonna answer this real quick before Conan does. I said this was one of the
Even though he
factors.
asked me.
I
Okay.
said this is one of the factors that you had to take into consideration bringing Punk back is that he has been getting hurt a lot
Yeah.
recently. He's had 2 injuries in AEW and one right off the bat here in WWE. And he's an injury risk, which is weird that he's getting hurt in wrestling and he was training in MMA for two years and not didn't get hurt. It's like I think that's kind of crazy if you think about it. Go ahead.
Well, he was only in 2 fights and neither lasted that
Yeah, but he's
long. But
still in training.
He was
You're
training.
fighting and
yeah,
training.
Yeah.
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 Pretty much daily almost.
Well, let me just say, yeah, I know how MMA training goes.
And
Joe.
he's, and he's
I actually
45
was
by
in
the
it. He's 45.
by the yeah.
So he started in what year?
1998. Yeah.
So that's how many years?
1997. So it's 27 years almost.
27 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's been through 27 years of, well, he took like 5 years off, right? But like you said, he was MMA training. So he's been through like 27 years, through grinding on the road and going through ROH, which was that physical style. And that's always been his, I'm the best. And he wrestles physical. And it's catching up with him like
Yeah.
it has with Brian Danielson, like it did with Eddie Guerrero, like it did with a lot of people. That's a rough style to maintain for 20 plus years. And and what they have right now is a guy who's injury prone. Okay.
And let's not forget, let's look over at AEW. Brian Danielson,
Yeah, I
Ring
said
of
Brian
Honor
Danielson.
style.
Adam
Yeah,
Cole.
Adam Cole.
Yeah.
But
That
the funny thing
sucks.
is, all these guys, and the narrative was their fans always on Miz for
'Cause
being
he's
like
too safe.
Right.
You're
Right.
it's like,
And
well,
look who's
so
still
yeah,
around. Right.
I mean, come on.
Right. And
that's
making
what
more
the-
money.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what the fans would say about you back in the day too, Di.
Okay, so next one is we already discussed this, but I'll ask you. I'll read the email anyway. Giant for Root sub 750. At a recent Dynamite taping, AEW drew a crowd of less than 1,800. At a Collision taping, they drew a crowd of less than 1,200. At a Rampage taping, they drew a crowd of around 750 people. I guess I have a few questions. It's the worst look possible for Tony Khan. I mean, look at how he looks at the crowd when they don't mark out for his promo. Do you think that Tony Khan even allows himself to acknowledge that ticket sales were so bad? And finally, do you think Tony Khan may ever be able to accept that signing giant contracts for guys like Jericho, Edge, etc., simply has not worked out at all for him, and that maybe releasing them would help AEW in the long run? No, I'm very curious to see what the Vegas show does here too in Henderson, because the
When's
tickets are not the tickets are it's on the Saturday before the Super Bowl. It's such a foolish. I don't know why that. If Jeff booked this, I wish Jeff would have called me beforehand, bro. The Saturday. This is the problematic thing they're going to have with that show. I don't think they've sold 1,000 tickets yet. Okay, and it's an arena where the minor league hockey team plays.
So this is the same. Let me just ask you a question. This is the same week as the Super Bowl?
The weekend of the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the problem. Okay, and this is a problem they're going to have with that event of selling more tickets. Okay, the locals are not buying. They're like they would have bought the tickets already. They're not buying it. If anybody's coming in for that show, bro, Super Bowl weekend, the hotels are already sold out. Okay, you have to have a car to get out to that arena because the Saturday night before the Super Bowl, dude, there's going to be 300,000 people in this town. Ubers and taxis are going to be like impossible to get. Everybody's going to be centered on the strip. The place is 20 minutes away. Like I don't know how people are going to if you're on the strip and you want to go to that show, you're going to have a very difficult time if you don't have a car getting there. Because Ubers are going to be like so. I mean, just think about that. We're gonna have like 20% more people than this town has on a like population wise. The population of this city is going to increase by 25% of tourists coming in for Super Bowl, and the transportation is going to be a humongous problem. Problem.
You should do pretty good at the Shake Shack.
Oh,
then,
absolutely. No,
better than
we're
usual.
gonna be busy all week. It's gonna be great.
But let me tell you one thing. So they'll probably, like all the AEW wrestlers, because I've seen this done before, they'll put them in a bus and they'll drive them there, right?
No, they'll get there, but
here's the
fans,
problem.
yeah,
Here's the
right.
problem that I think. Okay, I think that only hardcore fans are going to show up, because if you tell most people would rather go to Super Bowl AEW, what do you think they're going to say? Unless they're a hardcore fan. Would
everybody's
you
gonna
rather
be in
go
the
to a
strip
bar
party.
and watch the Super
Yeah,
Bowl?
no.
Well,
Would you
no,
rather
it's
go to a
the
strip
night
club and
before.
watch the
Even
Super Bowl?
It's the night
even
before
on
the Super Bowl, Conan.
even on
Right.
Saturday night
Well, they'd
though.
rather
Yeah,
save that money for Super
dude,
Bowl unless
the
you're really
Saturday night
rich.
Or
the,
party. Yeah.
the Saturday night before the Super Bowl is gonna be one of the busiest nights of the year in this town.
Of
Everybody's going to
course.
the restaurant, the
Of
casino,
course.
yeah,
Of
not
course.
wrestling in Henderson of 20
Yeah.
minutes away out in the suburbs.
Yeah.
You know,
Bro, I've been to the Super Bowl various times and it's
yeah,
ridiculous. There's
right,
nothing like it. The tailgating, all the bars, people are in there celebrating, watching it because it's a main event.
bro. They should have ran the Orleans Arena or an event or a venue near the
Closer.
Strip, closer. Because
And not only
right,
that,
yeah,
Disco, they have two great teams in there.
right, yeah. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, can you
Well,
imagine
as
all the
of
people coming from San Francisco?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As it was a big
But-
San Francisco town. I mean, it's
Right, right,
the Raiders and the 49ers are the
right.
two
Yeah.
teams here, the sister teams kind of.
well,
So
as of last week, WrestleTix reported that they have
Who? Wait a minute. What?
they did.
That's
Wrestle
the real
Tips is
site,
Yeah,
WrestleTix?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like WrestleNomics or whatever. They do all the ticket reports.
Okay.
So the Dollar Loan Center Arena, Henderson, current setup 2,555. Tickets distributed 928.
Yeah.
Wow.
1627 ago. This was a week ago, so maybe they went over 1,000. I don't know. I'll
Try
look
not-
for the next report.
And you know
Right,
what,
right,
Joe?
right,
I
right.
misunderstood Disco or whoever said WrestleTix. I thought it was TICKS, but
No,
it's
WrestleTix.
TIX.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Oh, and
Brian Dunlop.
let me answer Conan from before just about Dragon Lee real quick. So Dragon Lee didn't wrestle last night, Conan, but the LWO got jumped by this Oba Femi, the
Right.
guy you mentioned. Dragon
Yeah,
Lee came out to
Nigerian guy.
help. Dragon
Right.
Lee came out to help, and Femi beat them all up.
Yeah, because they're setting. Imagine that he beat all three. Nice,
Right.
but they're setting up a grudge match between Dragon Lee and Femi. Because Disco, the first time Femi won the championship, bro, he just basically squashed Dragon Lee. Like they really like this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian Dunlap suspended for a week. Mark that
I
down,
like
Joe.
that.
Second email this week. Subject is the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. Howdy, K100. What are your opinions on Ken Shamrock? Have any of you guys ever interacted with him? So, what are your expectations with the UFC legend? When I was a little kid, I remember Shamrock was one of the most intense wrestlers of the Attitude Era. Legit, very believable performer. His nickname was the world's most dangerous man, but I'm thinking, what if there was a wrestling gimmick around the world's most dangerous tan? Would Frankie Kazarian fit that role? Best regards from Brian Dunlap. Yeah, the world's most dangerous tan. That's not a bad gimmick for Frankie Kazarian. I got to give Brian Dunlap some credit here.
I
But
give
you
it
are
to
still
Cardona.
suspended. Yeah, but he's still suspended.
Yeah, he's suspended.
But
Yeah, Cardona does it
I've never met
sometimes.
Shamrock. I ran into him in a club in Columbus, Ohio, during the
Right.
weekend of the Arnold Classic, and yeah, he likes the clubs. I will say that.
Yeah,
let me-
well,
I'm
yeah, I
gonna
read his
tell you-
book, and yeah.
And
A
you
funny-
know because you're in San Diego, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny Ken Shamrock story. So Ken lived in San Diego. We trained at the same gym. Ray used to go to the same gym. And he had opened up a dojo really close to my house, and I was a big MMA mark. So I went over to the dojo, and he invited me to his house. And do you remember when I was telling O'Shea Jackson the story about the young boys in New Japan, how they wash your hair and all that?
Yeah, yeah.
So I got to his house. Everybody's just there without their shoes. And the moment Ken came into his house, because he had showed up late, they bowed at him and they were getting him food like young boys, you know? I
Right.
was like, what the is going on here? Well, anyways, later on, there was a rave in San Diego, in downtown San Diego. And I was sitting like on these steps with these two chicks, and he rose up with two chicks, right? And he just looks at me and he goes, I love your style. And I go, I love yours. And bro, that we went inside and we just, partied. He loved the party.
Okay,
But
so Ben,
really cool dude.
yeah, I like him too. Benjamin Gladden.
I love this one.
Yeah, I'm
Read it.
suspended. I'm 100% suspension here because I think this is a troll.
Yeah.
Subject is Max Moon WWF. Hey Conan, what was it like working with Max Moon? Was he easy to work with in the ring? Do you have any Max Moon stories when y'all was on the road together? And how well did he get along with the boys in the locker room? So we're gonna suspend this guy for potential trolling and gross misinformation. Okay,
How long are you suspending him for?
I mean, it might be if it's first one, I wouldn't mind suspending forever.
Give him a red card.
Yeah, red
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
Next one's from Danger Ross and subject is AEW matchups. I've been trying pretty hard to get back in AEW, but the matches suck. I don't want to see Hook. I don't want to see Orange. I want to see Brian Cage. I want to see people who look like warriors go to war. The main event last night was Adam Copeland versus Suzuki. I do not care. Suzuki may have had his day, but it's gone. I have no clue who this old dude is. Why not push Starks or Big Bill to a belt? People who look and act legit. I'm tired of Penta. It's always the same guys every week. Where's Britt? Thunder Rosa waited till Jade was gone to come back. Even that's not how it is. It's a bad look. I hate the start of every Penta match has to be his hand signed in someone's face for 2 minutes. It's just not good TV. Do you think AEW should have a cruiser division to separate some of these tiny guys from the heavyweights? Thank you. Well, this guy doesn't like Penta, and this guy doesn't like a lot of the guys there. But
Yeah.
I don't. Bro, listen
Yeah.
to our reviews. I don't know what to tell you.
Let me
Here.
just say, he said something about he says, "Where's Britt?" Is
Yeah.
that a question a lot of people really are asking?
Uh,
That's number one. Number two, Thunder Rosa. She didn't wait till Jade was gone. She was hurt,
right.
legitimately hurt, right? Like her back was off, and she had these video blogs where she showed everything. Um, uh, you may not like Penta. That's cool. He's not for everybody, but bro, the majority of the people everywhere he goes, from Mexico to England, U.S., they love him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And who's the other guy he doesn't like, or what was it?
Penta.
That was it? Okay.
Yeah. All right. An Orange Cat. Yeah, he wasn't really critical of the other guys.